Sarah's following my instructions very well because she knows that when she talks about conflict, she needs to talk about motivation. She needs to talk about interest. However, you can talk about motivation without using the word motivated. And I think it's going to help Sarah if she doesn't use the word motivated. So let's talk about that for a moment. Before I even get into Sarah's, let's talk about literary terms and techniques. Conflict. I've got this word. It's a very technical term. What real common words do you have that you use that mean the same thing? Problem. Sorry? Issue. What else? A little bit more intense. Struggle. Fight. You don't have to use the word conflict to be talking about conflict. In this class, I can tell when you're talking about a concept even if you're not using the concept's name. So for instance, look at your anybody who's dealing with contents of a dead man's pockets on internal conflict. Look at your claim sentence. If it uses, he faces an internal conflict, you'll find that that doesn't sound very conversational. It doesn't sound like the way you'd speak. How about this? Beneke struggles with a problem. Beneke faces a problem. Beneke faces a problem with his overwork. That sounds pretty conversational. And as I read that, I know this writer's talking about internal conflict. You don't have to use this terminology to be talking about this terminology. Now, getting closer to Sarah's. What do we say instead of motivated? Driven. I am driven to do something. What else? If I have a motivation, what other really simple, very straightforward words could I use? Want. What else? Cause. The motivation causes me, that's true, but that's like one step next. I'm talking about me. If I say I am motivated to do something, I could also say I want to do something. What else could I say? I wouldn't say I caused to do something. That wouldn't make sense. What else could I say? Tried, but that means an attempt. I'm talking about a want in me. Jeremy? Strive, that's once again talking about the attempt. I'm just talking about what's in me that's inspire. That's something outside. Sorry. I was thinking just simple need. You were going to say that, Josiah? Desire. Very good. I want something, I need something, I desire something. There you go. Now let's take that approach to Sarah's. He and his guests are motivated to stay away from the threat of dying. What do you want? How do you want to change that? We're going to focus on that one first. I know that the problem, Sarah, is this, but we got to fix the first part in order to fix the second part. There you go. Want to stay away from the threat of dying. Or just want to stay alive, right? Wouldn't that be simple? Now look at the second part. He and his guests want to stay alive. And can Sarah or anybody else rewrite the second part so it does the same sort of thing? You could say that is driven to spread itself to everyone. Haven, I'll tell you in just a second why I'm going with Alma's instead of yours. Let's take out spread itself to everyone. Wants to do what? Simple. Wants to kill. A lot of you are under the false impression that teachers like me appreciate wordiness, fancy words. I appreciate clarity of thought. If a sophisticated, well, I'm serious. If a sophisticated word is what works best, then use it. But if a simple word works just as well, use that. You always want to try to communicate in clear, conversational manner. Something that's specific and direct and active, but I like short and I like clear, to the point. I don't like when you ramble on about things or when you write sentences that are way too long. Look at this. He and his guests want to stay alive, and the disease wants to kill them. Sounds like a conflict of interest to me, and really clear. It's the exact same thought that Sarah had in the first place. Sarah was analytically excellent. She's talking about this motivation versus this motivation. Now we've just clarified that in a simple language. He and his guests want to stay alive, and the disease wants to spread, or wants to kill them. Haven, do you understand why I took ammas on wants instead of the is driven? Anybody see why I picked one over the other? Adrian? Oh, that's true, but in this case, the main verb is driven, so it would have been fine. You see that is by itself? It's the is by itself that we have a problem with. The is driven is not that bad. David? I like the repetition. They want this and they want this. They need this, but they need this. The repetition helps understand how there's opposition right there. But if I change the type of verb, wants and is driven, there would be a disconnect, but saying wants twice connects them together.